am at bottom and at top too a storyteller through and through. What matters to me is that there should be a story with a beginning, a middle and an end.
Golding's famous and first novel, Lord of the Flies, was published in 1954 when he was 43.
I was a very, very junior editor. I'd only been in papers for a few months, I think, at this time. But already there's one particular sort of thing I could spot, and that was the tired, weather-beaten old manuscript that had been the round of a lot of publishers before it reached us. And this was very much that. It was a large, yellowing manuscript with the pages beginning to curl and one or two stains for teacups had been put on them, or wine glasses, and drops of coffee and tea spilt, and was bound in rather depressing, hairy brown cardboard. And with a short formal covering letter, and Miss Parkinson had written her little note on that already, which simply said, "Rubbish about boys on a desert island, reject." But nonetheless, I thought better pick it up and have a look. And I had a look, and I must say I wasn't at all attracted by the beginning of it, but eventually I went on and got absolutely caught up by it. And from then on I said, well, we must take this seriously.
I had a letter from a friend the other day who had interviewed me some years ago. How many years, I wonder? Perhaps 10 years ago. And he said, do you know, you said, when I'd written Lord of the Flies, I said to myself I could win the Nobel Prize for that.
This deceptively simple story of boys reverting to uncontrolled savagery on a desert island captured the popular imagination. Reviews were indifferent, some papers ignored it. But slowly sales increased, and it's now been translated into 24 languages, from Bulgarian to Turkish, and has sold nearly 5 million copies. Such is the continuing success of Lord of the Flies that many young readers, not much older than Ralph and Piggy and Jack, study it at school. Golding is more than just an author. He's become a set book.
What would you think that you might do different from any of the boys there, or do you think you'd behave like some of them?
I'd like to hope not, because, I mean, I don't think it has got a very nice ending, like most books we'd buy would have.
Yes.
For many years, Golding taught at Bishop Wordsworth's school until the success of Lord of the Flies enabled him to become a full-time writer.
I didn't like the systematic side of teaching. I'm not a very systematic person.
The richness and complexity of Golding's novels, their concern with the spiritual fate of man, his struggles with class, with evil and with life itself, the struggle to survive, seem at odds with his own rural life. Since a serious shipwreck in the Channel which endangered his family, Golding gave up sailing and at 70 learned to ride, and he and his Australian horse Cobber roam the countryside.
I believe I understand it. I understand its nature, but I don't think that necessarily means being close to it. It suits me in a lot of ways, but again, my lifelong connection with it is rather like my laziness as a writer. I'm here because I'm nowhere else, you know? I don't write at all for long periods, and then I anguish and bite my fingernails because I haven't written anything for a long time. And then I get an idea, and sometimes then I say, well, it's time I started writing, and I sit down and I start to write. If I have got an idea, then I write for about a month, and that's a book.